I don't know what kind of this seems to be working. So the topic I want to touch on today is strategic or tactical optimism. A lot of the times you'll notice, I assume most of the people who end up watching this video will be in more modernized society, more well-developed areas of the world, or just systems. We tend to stray in a pessimistic manner about the things that are happening around us, despite the unparalleled level of development we are surrounded by. Like, look at me, I'm reading, this thing was made, I don't know where. This clothes was made, like, I'm on a chair. Like 200 years ago, if you gave someone a chair, they could do this. It'd be like, what the hell is that? That's a chair? And I still complain about this chair all the time because I'm an ungrateful asshole sometimes, and I acknowledge that, and I think more people should. When you exist, think of life as like a treadmill. I like Chris Williamson's example he calls it, he doesn't actually, I don't think he coined this term, but the hedonic treadmill is the human propensity to get used to things a lot easier we get used to things that come along a lot easier than things that are taken away. And that's like also our strong negativity bias, which is an evolutionary trait, which I'll get into later. So like this cool mouse, a bowl to eat food in, a controller to play games with, all this stuff. If 200 years, okay, except the bowl, 200 years ago, all this stuff would literally be magic. Like, what the fuck is that? Now, if I lose my controller, I'm angry for like a full 30 minutes, like a little baby. I'm like, where's my controller? Fuck, man, I wanted to play games. I'm like, and I try and catch myself, like, why am I doing this? Why am I being such a child? You know what I mean? That's the hedonic treadmill. It's what we have and what we can get is never going to be as important as what we don't have. That's just, it's unfortunately, it's part of our programming and it's a bit fucky. But when you incorporate strategic optimism and hope into your life, strategic optimism shows you, you know what, maybe things aren't that bad. Things are a lot better than they could be. Things just fall apart of their own volition. There are people keeping the lights on. If you're from South Africa, you know, Eskom isn't always keeping the lights on. But we still have to be grateful for the fact that we have electricity most of the day. And sometimes there's no load shedding. Westerners, you guys won't fucking understand this. But there's still people keeping the lights on. There's still people building houses. There are still people making food. There are still people farming, or like, there's not really people doing it as much, hopefully. Hopefully there's mostly machinery doing it, because that's a very labor intense and shitty job. But there are still people doing things for us every day, and we still do things for people. Like, we work, and that's why we should work, so we can fucking give back to society. You know, society's given us so much and we don't even realize it. All this shit I bought there that I got like online, just bought from a flippin' online store, and it came to my house. That's like, bruh, 200 years ago that would have never happened. That's like, what? People deliver shit to you out? How did you even buy it? Did you have to like phone them? No, there's the internet now. I was like, what? What's the internet? I always try and do this thought experiment where I go back in time in my own head, and I'm like a 200-year like a Peaky Blinder, like, oh yes, what's going on here? It's like Peaky Blinders, or like, you guys didn't have shit that we have now. Like, the poorest person now, the poorest person now is still fucking hard off. I live in South Africa. I live in a third world country. Like, people, it's not amazing here all the time, but the people I'm surrounded with sometimes, and in the positions, I'm in a very privileged position in my country, and I acknowledge that every fucking day. And I put the work in so I can do more for people who aren't in my position, because I want to get people here. I want my country to have the stupid first world problems Americans have and Europeans have. I want that for my country. I want that for South Africa. So I'm going to work my ass off for that. But a lot of the time I'll be around people who don't realize how good they have it here, or in like Westerners' positions, how good they have it. And it's just like, fuck, bro. You know, you could have been eaten by a lion. Like, our consciousness is not different from the consciousness of hunter-gatherers. Our brains were developed. Most of our human history was hunter-gatherer times, and that's when our brains were developed. We have the same kind of thought biases as them. That's why we're so negatively biased. Because a good thing could be nice, but a bad thing could kill you. Death only has to win once. Life wins every day. But just remembering that fact alone. I got these from Chris Williamson's email list. I hope you guys are on it. Chris Williamson's flipping awesome. Just remembering that life wins every day. That's like, holy shit. So life's kind of the undefeated champ. Like, if life had a record, it would be like 1,000,000 and like 10,000. I'm not saying like it's a fully winning, but we're mostly winning And it's very hard to get out of that mindset of like, this could be taken away from me. I could lose these things. I'm fucking myself very afraid of dying. I want to live till I'm 150. I want to live super long. I love love. I love living. But when I wake up and realize like, yo, I have so much actually. Holy shit, I have so much. That it sounds super cliche. And I used to be one of those cringe little 12-year-olds and like, oh, you're so optimistic. Oh, just wait till something bad happens to you. Shut the fuck up, bro. Be happy. Enjoy your life. Spread happiness. Spread optimism. And not because it's cringy, and not because you want to sound better than other people because you're happy and they aren't. That's not true happiness. True happiness is service. True happiness is helping other people. That's what love is. It's wishing best for other people despite how you feel. And not saying you should like sacrifice all your time and all your energy, and like you don't fall from a half empty cup. You don't give people what you don't even have. When you have an abundance of positive, optimistic energy, people just want to be around you more. That's what I want for you. That's why I do this. That's why I want to fucking do this shit. I want you guys to be happy and fulfilled, and I want to give you guys all the tools and shit I learned from all these books, because I love reading all these books or listening to them. I don't actually read. I mostly listen. I'm an audiobook king. But there's so much to be optimistic about. There's a lot to be pessimistic about. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to come across all happy daisy, life's perfect. We have to get better. We have to take responsibility and make things better around us. That will always be there. There'll always be things to make better. But there'll be way more things to be appreciative of the work of our forefathers, of the work of our ancestors, of the suffrage of our ancestors. In my context in South Africa, we've only been in democracy for 28 years. So 28 years ago, people were allowed to vote, and that's when Nelson Mandela was elected president of the ANC and of the country. And I fucking love his book, The Long Walk to Freedom. I'd recommend that to any person, especially South African people, because a lot of South African people, we have very westernized political views, and we think that their policies apply to us. Like, I'm not saying this to be judgmental if a person's watching. One of my friends, I go to a very, like, I go to a university that has a lot of white people. A lot of the wealth of our country is still with white people, despite them being like 15-20% of the population, because of our previous apartheid regime, where there were blatantly racist policies saying black and colored people and Indian people couldn't do these things. Kind of like segregation in America, kind of like that. But what am I gonna say now? One of my friends said that so there's policies to help colored and black people, so like minorities basically. And I thought, minorities? This guy, yeah. I didn't think of it in the sense of, I wasn't mad at him. I don't like when people get mad at people for their ignorance, because you don't even know when you're ignorant sometimes. So why get mad at someone and push them away from knowledge? Because that's a lot of what you do when you get mad at people. You're pushing them away from your perspective of the truth. You push them away from it because you're like, fuck, I don't want to think how this guy thinks. He's an asshole. He just thinks I'm a shithead. Like that intolerance of intolerance is a very bad idea. It doesn't get anyone anywhere. But then I thought, like, this guy has such westernized views of politics. We aren't a fucking minority. I'm a minority in my country. I'm colored. That's mixed race. Colored is not racist terms African. It's mixed race. The majority of the people in my country are black. That's like more than 60-70% of the country. And he said minorities. Like, maybe watch our news. I don't want to watch any news, but maybe go into our country's history. You know what I mean? Most of the people watching this won't actually fucking care, because they're probably not going to be from South Africa. But I went on a tangent there. Try and lead your thoughts with optimistic ideas, because more often than not, that's what's more correct. More often than not, people aren't out to get you. They just don't know any better. More often than not, things are going to get better. More often than not, you're not going to feel this way forever. More often than not, if you put the work in, you will get what you deserve and what you want. The real work, the hard work, the learning, the consistency, the persistency. That's real work, not just showing up and acting like you're working and, oh, look at me, I'm doing work. No, that's not real work. That's not deep work. Read Cal Newport's book, Deep Work. That's some excellent stuff. Work super hard, super focused, and just stop when you can't. Thanks everyone, that was Ashlord. I really like this idea.